Hey, you guys. Good morning. What a beautiful, beautiful day. Kind of set up underneath my back stairs today. Just, going where we're comfortable. And gonna plug this little thing in here. Hey. So, if you've got a minute, I'm going to just briefly give you the secret of life. And I know it's so simple that it can be done honestly in a moment. And so I'll do that. So the secret of life is to be here now. And really that's it. There's a lot of stuff around that and lots of conversation we can have around that, but mostly we're just not here. And where are we? And that's where we go deeper is the question of where are we? If we're not here, where are we? And where we are is often in our mind. We're in our mind. We're in our mind. And the mind is making up problems and stories and continually calculating and judging and looking around for problems and situations and that doesn't necessarily stop. It does kind of abide a bit, because in time, if we're not paying attention to it, it smooths out a bit. It recognizes that, oh, I guess he's got this, and the he that I'm speaking of is the oneness. So when we're present, we connect with the oneness, with universal intelligence, with God, however we want to say it. It doesn't require a belief. It doesn't require a belief. A belief can sometimes keep us from being present because we're believing in something that we kind of think we understand. See, the mind wants to believe in stuff that it can understand, or it can judge, or that it can have some perceived control over, or know the depth of it so that it knows that it's going to still stay in charge. So the problem, if there's a problem, is the mind. Now, not to say that the mind isn't, an amazing tool, and that it doesn't serve us. In a way, it serves us. I don't know if it's the mind, but we've learned some things. We've learned how to brush our teeth and wipe our bum, right? How to take care of ourselves, how to feed ourselves, how to cook. We actually we learned these things. We're like, in a way, we're kind of like trained seals, because we're good at something that maybe like cooking. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm just this amazing cook, But we've learned these skills, I'm an amazing driver, and we're a bit like trained seals. And so when we're doing our thing that we've learned, we're like comfortable, and our ego's like, wow, aren't I good? So what if we could just be nothing? Not a good cook, no identity, not even a good husband, not a good father, not a good mother. Just be available in each moment to be love, to be kind, to be compassionate. So, and in that is peace. Peace. So, if We forget to put the garbage out. Oh, oh gosh, I forgot to put the garbage out. That's it. It's not nothing, Yesterday I dropped an iPad, and it shattered. And I know that not that many years ago I would have had oh my God. And there was nothing. I'm serious. It was like, oh my gosh. And I was watching myself, if you will, from the position of the observer, or and it was like, oh, there was just a bit of disappointment, but it wasn't like I didn't go to blaming myself for carrying too much stuff, because I'm always moving stuff around. From, when I do these sessions, I carry things that, like today outside, and and sometimes I have a little tripod and everything. I'm carrying a bunch of stuff, and I and this thing fell on the tile floor. Boom. And that was it. It was like, oh, okay. And then I did go online to see how much it cost to repair. And I might not do it. It's okay. It's not like... So we just can be with what is in each moment as we practice this connection with, the universal intelligence. And there are ways to practice that, to have that closeness develop with the moment. And the more we spend time here, instead of in our mind planning or rushing around doing, or measuring, or catastrophizing, or dramatizing, or as we spend time here, the easier it is to be here. And we had our meditation group last night, on Monday night, and I was asking the people who were there, how would you like to have access to all knowing and all knowledge? And because in the moment, in the present, that's what's there. This intuitive thought starts to roll in. We think it's magic in the beginning because we just seem to know things, but it's not. It's just we're connected to Source. So everything that's needed appears as it's needed, and it's beautiful. We just come to rely on that, and so we're at peace. Fear moves away, and we can't really confront fear and conquer fear. What happens is we bring this power into the moment when fear is there. It steps away, because fear doesn't live in the moment. Fear is always in the future or the past. So when we're here, and how to deal with that, and I don't know that we went this way to talk about fear, but when fear comes up, and it seems universal, it seems like a lot of people have it, and they call it anxiety, or whatever the names that we have for fear. When fear is there and we see it, the trick is to be there. Say, oh look, breathe into it, recognize it. Prayer brings us into the moment, so we can pray to universal intelligence, to God. We can say, please remove my fear. Show me what you have me to be. Guide me and strengthen me. A short prayer brings us into the moment, and fear moves away. And if it's really troublesome, we work with others. We help others. We literally become of service. And lots of times people say, well, I can't help others until I have this all conquered myself. No way. Start helping now. Start making a difference no matter where you're at in this process of awakening. There's somebody looking at you and saying, boy, I wish I had what he has. So start now in this process of helping others, and that brings us into the moment. So everything is here. That's it. There's nothing missing in the moment. All knowledge is here. Yes, peace is here. Serenity is here. God is here. Love is here. We're not needing to be in a relationship. We're not needing to have anybody acknowledge us. We're not needing to have a persona, to show up with an image. Nothing. We're not thinking about, does somebody like me or not like me? All of that stuff is just, it's gone. We're free. And that's the whole process in the 12 steps, is to guide us to that freedom. I read the promises the other day. That's that freedom. It says we'll lose our fear of people and economic insecurity. Like, it'll be gone. Yeah. And being in this place of now, being in this place of, call it what you want, spirituality, call it God, call it, being in this space is becomes the most important thing in our lives, right? It becomes like, not that it's important. Hi, Kathy. Not that it's important. It just becomes the center of. It is our lives. And once we've touched this and experienced this, we're like, wow, why would I want to live in any other way? Thank you. So this is it. Be here now. And this is why I do this. Is that, as we give it away, it grows. It seems to be a spiritual principle or universal law. And so no matter where you're at in the process, look for somebody who's looking for what you have and help them, lift them up, spend time with them, guide them, And that's it. I'm going to read this in a minute. This is the 24-hour day book. I read it every day for you guys, and I love it. I love reading it for me, actually. And I just wanted to remind you that a couple of weeks from now, in early October, I've actually decided exactly what day, we're going to start to read the Bhagavad Gita. The Gita is amazing. Amazing. If you've read any David Hawkins, I really encourage you to, because Hawkins had really nailed it. He was amazing. He built a scale in using kinesiology and muscle testing, and I won't describe how he did it, but he didn't do it alone. He did it with thousands of people doing blind testing, and muscle testing doesn't lie, right? And because muscle testing's now, it's in the now, the body is always aware, and so the Bhagavad Gita vibrated. 1,000 was the highest in his scale, which is Christ consciousness, and he says the book vibrates at over 900, and so being in the presence of a book like that and going through it doesn't mean that we have to understand, and that's the thing. We think we need to understand with the mind. We don't need to understand with the mind. We don't. Just being in the presence of somebody who vibrates at a high level, a teacher or a book. Hawkins' books were all in the 700s and 800s and 900s themselves. And, so Bhagavad Gita, get a copy and we can read along with us. Stephen Mitchell's translation, we're going to read it together. And that's that. Come up in a bit. What day is it? What day is it? Is it the 22nd? I think it's 22nd. It is, I think. So this little book that I've been reading since the 1st of May was written in 1954, and I got to look up the man's name who wrote it. I don't think it's that relevant because he did it as a service. He wrote it as a service, and the service was to help and guide in the early days of the 12-step, in the early days of 54. Was very early. It was only, like 14 or 15 years since the big book had been written. So we were still in our adolescence as an organization, so he wrote this Day at a Time book for folks to look at. And I started reading this the 1st of May, and I try to read it in the morning. Anyway, it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes it's late in the day, depending how the day goes. My day sometimes, it's happening. I'm out there doing my life. And so this gets read, though, every day. Step 8, he's talking about the steps here. He started a couple of days ago to address some of the information about the actual steps in this. And step 8 is, he said, he quotes the step, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Step 9 is, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Making a restitution for the wrongs we have done is often very difficult. It hurts our pride, but the rewards are great. When we go to a person and say we are sorry, the reaction we get is almost invariably good. It takes courage to make the plunge, but the results more than justify it. A load is off our chest, and often our enemy has been turned into a friend. Have I done my best to make all the restitution possible? I'm just going to explain that just a little bit deeper. When we make amends, we are removing some of the stuff that's in the system that we have guilt around, or shame around, or fear around, right? And when that's gone, we're more able to be here in the moment. Those are the things that keep us from the moment. Maybe we have anger around, whatever it was that we're going to make an amend. So when we make an amend, it helps to let in the sunlight of the Spirit, if you will. That was the term that Bill used. And when we're talking about 4, 5, and 8, and 9, and 6 and 7. So making amends, it's amazing. So it's not about just the results of getting forgiveness or having a new friend. Again, it's that stuff keeps us in the dark, if you will, and because we're carrying guilt or shame or fear or anger because of something that happened sometimes 30 years ago, 40 years ago, a brother we don't talk to, so we just clean it up. Even if we can't remember what it was, we know there was something. We just clean it up. Maybe it wasn't even ours. Maybe it was something that our mother said about somebody. And we thought, well, I'll never talk to that person after what happened between them and Mom. But so we just go and clean it up. And it's gone. And we're free. Freedom is the goal. Meditation for the day. It says, there should be joy in living the spiritual life. Yes. A faith without joy is not entirely genuine. Not entirely genuine. If you are not happier as a result of your faith, there's probably something wrong, something missing. Well, we get that. I love the crows. I'm not so fond of the jet, but I love the crows. Can you guys hear the crow when he goes? I have a flock of them that live all around my house here. It's beautiful, and sometimes they fly, like right almost at me, very close. I hear their wings. It's beautiful. Okay, faith in God should bring you deep feeling of happiness and security, no matter what happens on the surface of your life. So each new day is another opportunity to serve God and improve your relationship with your fellow men. This should bring joy. Life should be abundant and outreaching. It should be glowing and outgoing. And hey, buddy, and even in ever-widening circles. So, in a way, having the experience of being here now and experiencing the one now doesn't require faith. Faith isn't something we believe in. The experience doesn't require faith because we're experiencing it. We know. And that's available. It's kind of a step beyond faith. It's a knowing. So just letting you know that is available beyond faith. The mind says, how do I have faith? Well, let's forget faith. Let's just experience the now. God. Not as a separate being. There isn't a separate. We are it. This is it. We're in it. Right now. Prayer for the day. I pray that my horizons may grow ever wider. I pray that I may keep reaching out for more service and companionship. And I love that, helping others, working with others, getting us ourselves out of ourselves. It's beautiful. Okay, you guys. Love you, and thank you for, allowing me to do this every day. Just be here. Practice. The breath brings us into the moment. Prayer brings us into the moment. Yeah. Sitting quietly, like a meditation, brings us into the moment. Gratitude brings us into the moment. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. A million thank yous. Lifts us up, brings us into the moment. Service, helping others. Yeah. Okay, you guys. Love you lots. We'll talk tomorrow. Follow us on YouTube. Thanks.